This podcast is part of the Batman Universe Podcast Network, hosted by the BatmanUniverse.net. Check out everything related to Batman and the entire Bat family at the BatmanUniverse.net, including news and original content related to comics, movies, television, merchandise, video games, and more. Also, check out some of the other unique podcasts that TBU has to offer. Consider supporting this podcast by becoming a patron on Patreon. Even $1 can go a long way in supporting this content that you enjoy. Look for a link over at the BatmanUniverse.net to offer your support now. And now, on with the show.
Scarecrows frightened of the clouds, laughing boys. I am a Batman. I am a Batman. Shine and signal, come out to play. I am a Batman. I am a Batman. Bring it on, Batman. Jump out your cave, 'cause I am a Batman. I am a Batman. Shine that signal, come out and play. I am a Batman.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 240 of Double and Dane. My name is Tim. I'll be your host for this one. As always, joining me is Dublin Dane himself. Dane, how's it going?
It's going good, Tim. I've been replaying Spider-Man,
Oh, nice.
the PS4/5 game, because I saw the PS5 upgrade was on sale recently and just picked it up. And yeah, just been enjoying that.
But yeah, I got the PS5 remaster, I think when it launched, or not right away, but like a few weeks after it came out. I haven't played it yet, but I want to experience it like that again on the PS5, hopefully before the next one comes out, which we don't have a date just yet, but I would like to replay it on the PS5.
Don't worry,
was that
Tim.
game awesome.
Yeah, don't worry, because it'll probably be delayed.
Just like everything else. But
Yeah.
well, did you hear the big Final Fantasy VII news this last few days, where they had that 25th anniversary event where they finally gave us not a release date, but a release window for the next chapter?
Let me guess, it's Q4 of 2027. Is that it?
It's a little more vague than that, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's all it said was next winter.
Next winter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the thing. It can mean winter, 2022, like December 2022, because technically that's next winter.
Yeah.
Or more than likely, though, it's going to be like March 20th, the last day, or March 19th, the last day of winter 2023.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So March, the end of March 2023. Then
But
that's what it's going to be.
yeah, but here's the thing with Square Enix release dates. I mean, you got to get the first one out of the way. So I'm glad we got that, because now it'll be delayed from that. So I'm not really counting on that being the date, because whatever first release date they announce, it never hits. So we got that out of the way. So maybe summer 2023.
Yeah. So, okay. So it's going to be winter 2024 then, right?
Wouldn't surprise me.
The beginning of winter 2024. So right in December. I think that's going to be its release date, Tim.
I wouldn't be shocked. But was also cool, though. They finally announced how many games are actually going to be in the remake. So it's going to be 3 games. So after this one, there's just going to be one more. So
Great.
I kind of figured it would be more than 2, but I was wondering, like, how many would it be? Would it be like 4 or 5, which would probably be another decade until it finishes? So I'm glad it's just stopping at 3, even though that probably won't be.
Yeah.
That'll probably be more likely the 2027 release year you were talking about.
Yeah. So 2027, you'll finally get the conclusion of this Final Fantasy VII remake, which is weird because with like their other games, like let's just say Tomb Raider, right? Their Tomb Raider trilogy. They didn't really have this delay, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're 2 separate developers, though. I mean, was it Crystal Dynamics that did Tomb Raider.
Yeah, but I mean they're under the Square.
Yeah, but different,
Umbrella.
totally different development teams though.
I guess. Yeah. Well, you got a point there, Tim.
But what's probably the thing that got me most excited for that Final Fantasy VII 20th anniversary celebration is that we've been talking PSP a lot on recent episodes. And I keep saying how the best PSP game was the Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, and that's finally going to get a console remaster coming this winter, not next winter. So that's going to be amazing. I love that game, and I've been dying for that to have a console remake. And it looks almost just as good as the Final Fantasy VII remake. But here's the thing: spoilers for those who haven't played Final Fantasy VII remake, but you know how it ended, Dane. They're kind of going off in a different direction as far as the timeline changing and all that. And you saw, I can't remember if it was part of the ending or if it was like an extra credit scene, but there's that scene where you see Zack surviving his encounter with the Shinra soldiers, and we all know from the original Final Fantasy VII, Zack gets killed by the soldiers, and that plays a big part in Cloud's development as a character. And the PSP game Crisis Core shows that in depth, his death in depth, I should say. And it was just such a great, like, emotionally tragic ending for the character, that how it was played out in that game. And I want to keep it the same because it's such a pivotal point of the Final Fantasy VII story. But I'm wondering if the remaster of Crisis Core is going to be more in line with the Final Fantasy VII remake, where Zack actually survives. Because the voice cast is going to be different from the original PSP game. It's the same voice cast from the remake. And that makes me wonder if this Crisis Core is actually going to change the ending where Zack survives, as we see in Final Fantasy VII remake. That's the only concern I have, because I wanted to keep it the same as the PSP. It's one of my favorite video game endings, just for how, like I said, it was an emotionally charged ending, and it was done beautifully for both. As you experience Zack's story throughout that game, you like really feel for him when he gets killed, and just Cloud's reaction to that was just so well done. So maybe they'll have something where you can have both different ways to have like two different endings, the original and then the new one. But we'll see. But I'm just glad it's finally getting a remaster, because that game deserves to be played by so many people who maybe might have missed it on the PSP, because I think it's such an important game in the Final Fantasy VII story, and it's just a fun game in general. So I'm excited to play that again.
I know this kind of doesn't make sense, but what if they did like a multiple choice ending, or a multiple ending thing? You know, like, oh, he survives, oh, he's dead. You know,
That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
It wouldn't work for the next game, right?
Yeah. But there's two versions out there, obviously, now with the remake. So why not put both options in there for the player to decide?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm sure like Square wants to like make it like, okay, so this is the final ending, and then we're gonna move to the next part of the trilogy now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm guessing too. That's really mainly to set up the remake more than the original one. So that's my only concern with it. But I'm looking forward to playing it again, regardless. And it'll be something you have to play, Dane.
Yeah, for the first time, because I did not play Crisis Core for PSP. I didn't play my PSP that much, to be honest. What was I gonna say? Has Square ever done a multiple ending game?
I know the most famous ones are Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross, which I've actually been playing recently. So those were like the first ones I remember that had multiple endings that you could do.
I see. Yeah, I've never played those. Those games. Those are spin-offs of Final Fantasy?
No, Chrono Trigger is an original. Yeah, it's their own series. Chrono Trigger is probably my third favorite game of all time. It is amazing.
Really?
It's just such a great classic JRPG. And pretty revolutionary for its time, like how it did its, I shouldn't say random battle, because like one of the first RPGs that I remember that did away with random battles, where you did it where if you just decided to fight an enemy on the map, this is what encountered a battle, you could avoid it if you want. And just how it had multiple endings, like 13 or something like that. It was a good amount for like the Super Nintendo game era. That was unprecedented. And just the story
Yeah,
and characters on it are really great. And the soundtrack is phenomenal too. One of the best video game soundtracks you're going to hear.
That's one thing I don't miss about JRPGs is the random battles.
Yeah, same. That's
It's
why I
so
like
irritating.
in all these remasters they do, like the Chrono Cross one that just came out back in April, where you can turn off random encounters, and they do that with all the remastered Final Fantasy ones that they did. That's so convenient now.
Yeah, you don't have to go into a boss battle with like quarter health,
Yeah.
'cause
And I like it too. They have these power up options where like you just hit a button, your character's stats just max out. Just in case, for someone like me who just wants to experience the story again and doesn't want to deal with building up your character so much to do all these battles. You just want to breeze through it and play through the story. It makes it a lot more convenient. That's kind of how I did with Chrono Cross, because I really just wanted to experience the story again.
Yeah, that's why I'm replaying the Spider-Man game, because on I think it's called Simple. It's because I just wanted to experience the story
Yeah,
because I kind of forgot what the story was, to be honest. So that's why I'm playing it on Simple, just to get through just the story aspect.
exactly. I'll probably do the same, and I'll probably do the same for Final Fantasy VII Remake before the sequel comes out, just to get a refresher, but not spend too much time on it.
Yeah, you don't want to get stuck battling something,
Yeah, exactly. But Dane, we got to talk about the biggest video game news of the week. One of our most anticipated game of the year is finally out, and of course, that is TMNT Shredder's Revenge. And how cool was it though to find out last week where they put out a new trailer and they had the release date reveal, because that's the one thing we've been waiting for. We saw the character reveals, which was great. It looks awesome, but when is it coming out? And this new trailer, they revealed, Casey Jones is going to be the next playable character. And after that, it just had a little teaser at the end, available, and it has the date, June 16th. And it was like, oh crap, that's next week. This game's going to be here next week.
Right.
That was just awesome. It's love it when developers could surprise us like that. And so next week is here. It came out just a couple of days ago as we're recording this episode. And of course, we have to give our first impressions, because I haven't played it too much. I just played the first few levels, but I'm looking forward to diving into it this weekend and hopefully play with some people on there. So first impressions, I played the first 6 levels, and boy, is it delivering on everything I was hoping for. It's simple. Just a classic old school arcade beat 'em up style with the turtles that kind of set the standard for those old arcade beat 'em ups. And they just captured the feel of it, the tone, the art style is its own thing, but yet it's the references. It's just all such a great homage to the classics arcade and Turtles in Time, but yet doing its own thing with new levels, new boss fights, and new moves for the characters. And it's just a blast to play. I've only played with me and my brother, played local co-op playing it, but I can't wait to play with multiple players, to have 4-player co-op and 6-player co-op. It's just going to be insane. But how they did this game is just a fantastic continuation of those classic Turtle arcade games, and I'm just having a blast with it. And again, I'm only 6 levels into it. I believe there's 16, and I just like how it's, again, good blend of the old with the new, because you have your classic boss fights that remind you of the original arcade game against Rocksteady and Bebop, but then there's another level that brings in some lesser known villains just from the toy line that I remember having, like character Dirtbag, which was a cool surprise to see. So I'm looking forward to seeing just more random villains pop up who maybe haven't appeared in any video games before from the Turtles as boss fights is awesome. And getting the original animated series voice actors to voice the Turtles in this is so great to hear their voices when they have their dialogue in game. So much fun. And just even, I like how old school it goes, where even with the cutscenes, it's just a simple piece of art that you would see from the arcade or the Super Nintendo era. There's not even dialogue, it's just text. And it's just really taking you back to that era of gameplay, but yet giving you something really new. I'm loving it so far, and I just can't wait to play more. The only nitpick I have, this is again just a nitpick, where the art style for it is great, and this is just a design choice, but because the graphics look good, but the character models are really going for that pixelated look that that doesn't make them look as sharp. I would love it if it was kind of more of just a sharp, cell shaded art style for the game. Same models and everything, but just have look sharper and cleaner. That's, again, it's a preference because I know they're going for the old classic arcade style, and I give them props for that. But for me personally, I think to have a nice more mix of the modern with the old, if it just had that sharp classic, or not classic, but just a sharp visual, clean art style look for it would enhance it for me and just make it look even better. But again, such a small nitpick that I have for it because it does look good. It's just a great throwback to how the games were back then. So yeah, I'm loving it. It's fantastic. I can't wait to play more.
Well, you brought up my one little nitpick,
I'm sorry to steal,
which
steal your
was
thunder.
which was I wish it was just a little bit more, like you said, just a little more refined on the graphic side of things, because like I was like, or as I was playing it, I was like, is my TV too big? You know, like is my TV too big where it doesn't look as good? But like I think it's the aesthetic of we're spiritual successor to Turtles in Time, right? So yeah, we have to keep that graphic style. But yeah, I've been having fun with it. I've played the first level completely, and dove into the second level, but I didn't complete it. I love it. It's it's exactly what the box said it was.
Yeah.
What the advertising said it was. It's just a regular beat 'em up arcade game, and it's what I find refreshing about it. Maybe it's because I'm a bad video game player, or I like times have changed and I just don't get it. But I just like how simple it is.
Yeah. I know
Just
exactly
the simplicity of it. Yeah, just like, okay, you press this button to punch and kick and whatever, and then you have your joystick, quote unquote, that will move your character around, and this is how you move your character around, and then you have like a special button that you can press that does a special move. Like I played as Donnie, and he has like this thing where he just creates like a storm of like hits, I guess you could say, and I love it. But yeah, that's what I like about it so far. I mean, I haven't gone in that deep into it as you have, or but yeah, I just wanted to get a feel for it because it came out on what, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, Thursday, and I just wanted to get a feel for it, play through the first level, and dive deeper into it on the weekend right now, and especially with somebody else, because it seems like that's what they want you to do.
Yeah, it's made for co-op.
Yeah, I think there's even matchmaking on it.
It looks like it's crossplay too, because I saw that option that's on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can play with like random people, but
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't done it. Yeah, I love what I've seen so far. It's not too easy and it's not too hard. So I died a couple of times in that beginning level, but yeah, I've loved it from the first level and a half.
Have you just started on the campaign where you have that world map that you drive over with the turtle van? Is
Yeah,
that what you did? Okay.
the campaign.
Yeah, same here. I like how there's two options too: the campaign and then just straight arcade, where you just go from level to level, and if you die, that's it. You have to start all over again, just like how middle school games are. Like, that's the thing too. What I think I'm gonna love about it even more is how the levels go by quick. There's only 16. I heard you can beat it like in 2 hours or something like that. But there's seems to be a lot of replay value, not just with playing with friends, but kind of doing the challenges that they have in each levels to see if you can get all of those. And there's certain characters that you find who have some challenges, like April O'Neil's boss at Channel 6 News, like has you find these newspapers. Irma has you looking for her diaries, the stuff to look out for and collect over the course of the levels. So I'm excited for, it's not just, oh, you beat it, that's done, and then you just do it again if you want to play with friends. But no, there's more stuff to kind of go back to and try to unlock. And leveling up each character too, 'cause that's something I'm gonna want to do as well for each Turtle and Splinter and April and Casey when I get them unlocked. So I'm looking forward to spending a lot of time with the game after beating it. And
Yeah.
what's also great too, Dane, is just as I'm playing is like, oh, I'm loving this. It's taking me back to those classic arcade games, and I want to play those too. Oh wait, the Cowabunga collection is not going to be too far behind this game too. So the fact that we're getting this game and then we're gonna have all the old games to go back and play, it's just awesome. What a great year for Turtle video games. It's so much fun.
I don't know if it's right behind it, Tim, because it says December 31st. Now, right?
Right, yeah. If I were to
So
guess,
that could-
I say early September or middle September.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's a good thing, right? That they're not giving a date, because it just means that it's not just a regular old port of, you know, the old video game
Mhm.
sort of thing. So I don't know. I think it's a good thing, and yeah, like you said, it makes you want to play Turtles in Time, right, Tim?
Yep. One little thing that I like in the second level, because each level has a title like Turtles in Time did. And the first level in Turtles in Time is Big Apple, 3 a.m. And the second level in this one is Big Apple, 3 p.m. Just doing the opposite because you're playing in the afternoon, or that level's in the afternoon where the other one's in the middle of the night in Turtles in Time. So just little homages like that I just find really neat that the developers do in there.
So you played that Scott Pilgrim game that
Yeah. Mhm.
that came out, right? So
Mhm.
so is it sort of like the same thing?
It does remind me of it. It's 10 years ago since I played that game, and I got the
Oh, I see.
remaster, but I just haven't really dived into it. But it's kind of similar where Scott Pilgrim had a world map as well. But this seems like there's a little like more RPG elements in Scott Pilgrim where you can buy items to boost up your characters and stuff like that. Where I didn't see too much of that for Shredder's Revenge. It's basically just the more enemies you beat up, you gain a level, and it adds either more health or more power or an extra power up to your special moves. So it seems a little more simpler than Scott Pilgrim, but I think there are some similarities, especially with the world map.
Yeah. I see.
And even the graphic style is very similar because Scott Pilgrim had that pixelated look to it as well.
Yeah. Every time I see like pixelated, characters or whatever, they just look like chicken nuggets.
That's never heard that one before. That's funny.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Chicken Nuggets.
Yeah. Well, now you can do a crossover with McDonald's, right? Teenage Mutant McNuggets.
I'm surprised they didn't do back in the 80s and early 90s when Turtles were at their peak of fandom. So,
Well, it's probably too violent, right?
yeah, well, I remember Burger King was the tie-in because I remember getting the Burger King stuff for kids meals there. I remember it was a Raphael toothbrush holder that you had, and they're like this Shredder like plastic toy box where it was like a TV screen and you just open it and then Shredder's picture is on there. Those are the two I remember the most, but I know there was others, but those ones always stood out to me because, especially the Raphael toothbrush holder, because I had that on my bathroom as a kid for a long time.
Too long.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
Thing was all busted.
And who knows how much bacteria in there.
Oh God, Tim. Oh God. Wow.
So yeah.
That was disgusting.
Well, on that note, TMNT Shredder's Revenge is awesome. Yeah.
And I guess the moral is, or the lesson is, clean out your toothbrush holder.
Yeah. No matter how young you are, it's never too early to start cleaning their toothbrush holder out. All right. So yeah, with that, before getting into our main feature topic, I guess, as always, we can dive into our Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring minute by minute commentary. And on this one, we're going to be going from minute 28 to minute 29. So, as always, you want to get your VHS copy, your Betamax copy, your Laserdisc copy, your DVD, your HD DVD copy, your UMD. I couldn't forget the UMD this time. And your Netflix physical media copy, your Blockbuster membership card so you can go out and rent it, your DVHS version, and as always, your converted VHS copy to DVD that you just made on your PC. So grab any one of those, and we'll be going from bit 28 to 29. So are you ready, Dane?
Yes, I am.
Then I'll give the countdown at 3, 2, 1, play. As Gandalf says that great line, I'm not trying to rob you, I'm trying to help you. And just a great moment between Gandalf and Bilbo here before Bilbo gets sent off on his way. Especially when you watch the old Hobbit movies and just know kind of what they went through in there and some of the moments they had between the two characters in those movies. But yet, at the same time, Bilbo tries to kill Gandalf one last time. Now, do you really think he forgot here, or is he hoping that Gandalf didn't notice?
I think he was hoping that Gandalf wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
It's just the pull of the ring,
Yeah. Especially that look on his face when he just says, "Oh, yeah, right."
Yeah.
See, the ring in Bilbo's hand. Will he drop it? Will he resist temptation?
I don't know. We'll
Next
see.
week.
He might just run away with it and disappear forever.
Ooh, I'm chomping at the bit for anticipation. I don't know if I can wait the next 2 weeks to find out, Dane. What will Bilbo do?
I kind of don't get how. I mean, the logic behind it, right? So, I know I have a problem with this, and I know it's really addictive, and I know this is really evil and bad, and all these words. So let me leave it for my young nephew, right? Kind of doesn't make sense. Like, wouldn't you, as a father figure, try to destroy it yourself rather than hand it down to your younger nephew?
Yeah, I mean, maybe if they actually knew it was the Ring of Power at that point, yeah, but this time they still don't know it is the One Ring. They just think it's one of those magic rings that, are, like Gandalf said, they're not to be taken lightly, but not really too harmful, as they knew the One Ring to be. So, I think this wanted it to be part of his inheritance because they knew it was probably the most valuable thing Bilbo had.
Yeah, so it's like, here, you take care of this dangerous weapon, the most dangerous weapon in the world.
Yeah, if they knew that to be the case, then yeah, that raised a lot of questions as far as just how good those characters are.
I don't know. I just think it's irresponsible on Bilbo's part and Gandalf's. That's all I'm trying to say.
Oh, you're taking their characters down a notch, aren't you, Dane? You're trying to make them not as good as they appear to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, too.
Looking for the faults in everything. So negative, Dane.
But I just wanted to bring up the 5th episode of Kenobi. What a great! I think this is the best episode that we've gotten so far.
I don't know, Dane. Not much really happened in it. I'm having trouble trying to remember it.
Oh yeah, I think Leia just fixed her Lola bot, right?
That's
whole, about it.
Yeah, 50 minutes or how long it was.
Yeah. Just took the restraining bolt off. She had to figure it out first, which was the first 47 minutes, and then the 48th minute she takes it off. So yeah, I think that was it. But no, seeing Anakin and Obi-Wan practice fight again, yeah, that was so cool. And like that line is like, something like, I don't understand your obsession with winning, and that whole final scene where Vader, is busting his way through that bunker area to get to the landing pad, and he's just busting on the doors, and then he sees the ship lifting off and tears it apart. That was pretty cool, even though the CGI wasn't very good on that scene. But know,
Yeah, the one
still,
nitpick of
like,
the whole episode is like that was the one moment you could tell this is a TV show. But
yeah,
still, the impact on it was still amazing though. Seeing Vader do that, it wasn't lost.
yeah, yeah, tear apart the ship, and then
That was
um, that was pretty cool. And then the Grand Inquisitor comes back, and then the third sister gets stabbed, and uh, the Grand Inquisitor comes back, which I thought was really cool. Like I thought he was dead, dead, but yeah, it was such a great episode.
It was amazing, and just the opening shot right where you see the back of Anakin, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. We're in for a great one here. And just the idea of just seeing Hayden and Ewan back as Anakin and Obi-Wan, it was such a great way to kick off the episode, and just such a great through line of the narrative over the course of the episode as we go back to that training duel that they were having there, and just the lesson that Obi-Wan was trying to impart on Anakin there, and just how you see it coming back to him in the instances that happened throughout this episode. And you're right, just that whole sequence with Vader, it was just mind blowing to see Vader this way. We've had so many great Vader moments since the Disney acquisition. When you look at Rebels, Rogue One, the final scene in Clone Wars, and now in Kenobi's, like this one you think can't get any better. Kenobi's just outdoing it with Vader. Like you said, the seeing him, what he did, bringing down that transport. Yeah, the CGI wasn't the best, but like I said, the impact of just how great it was seeing Vader do that wasn't lost in that. Not the best CG, but when he brings it down and it just tears apart the ship and just like straight, like not even taking a break, he brings it down and just goes straight to ripping it apart, and then just seeing him get away and then getting that other flashback, and then that just goes right into his fight with the third sister. And that fight was incredible because it was really awesome because Vader had didn't decide to use his lightsaber. He was just dodging her attacks, and it was just a sight to behold to see just how far above Vader is amongst everyone else, especially the Inquisitors. It was just such a display of power by Vader without really trying too hard. It was amazing. And then the way he just grabs her lightsaber, he just like does this really cool, quick kick move that, I mean, we never seen Vader do a kick move before, but it looked awesome how he kicked it, got his lightsabers, and just seeing him, he didn't use it too much obviously, but just the visual sight of seeing Vader holding two red lightsabers was awesome. And it was almost like fighting an Inquisitor isn't worthy of him using his own lightsaber. He took her double bladed, broke it apart, gave her the other handle, and then they had a quick little lightsaber fight. Maybe obviously Vader just toying with her. And it was just awesome. And I like how it ties back to the flashback where Obi-Wan teaches Anakin, just because you have a weapon doesn't mean, you're automatically going to win the fight, as Obi-Wan was able to subdue Anakin without his lightsaber and eventually take his. And Vader does the same thing to the third sister there. It's just great symmetry between the narratives of the flashback and what's happening in the current time period. It was incredible, and I just can't wait to see how it's going to wrap up. It sucks that we're already at the last episode, but I'm chomping at the bit to see how it ends. And just knowing we got the big encounter between Obi-Wan and Vader coming up, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I was wondering why they I mean, it's such a small thing, but like I was wondering why they put that warning in the beginning.
Yeah,
or like some scenes might be traumatizing.
Right when I saw that, like, okay, we're going back to the Order 66 moment in the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, you see, I didn't think that because I didn't think Disney would show that. And again, Disney kind of proved me wrong. They proved me wrong with Rogue One, where all the characters died, and they're proving me wrong again because I didn't think they'd show. I mean, they don't actually show Vader, Anakin killing the younglings, but you get enough. You get like one little small quick scene where he
you see him stabbing,
swings his lightsaber, stabs his lightsaber into a youngling. But and it sort of another thing too was in the beginning, Obi-Wan was like, oh, Vader will attack us because he can't. He doesn't have enough patience for
Yeah.
siege, right? And I was like, okay, but then they sort of like have a siege situation with the third sister and all of the stormtroopers trying to break down the door. That's what a siege is, right?
Mhm.
But then they pay it off in the end, where like we've said, Vader just stomps right in and tears down the doors and tears apart the ship, and he gets tricked because he doesn't have patience, which
Exactly.
also
Yeah.
plays into the sort of lesson of the of that scene, or those scenes that we get with Obi-Wan and Anakin practicing lightsaber training, right? Where his willingness, I mean, his unrelenting will to win, it sort of is his downfall, and like it totally pays off in the end, where he's tearing apart the ship, and he he misses the other ship that
Yeah.
flies up and flies away. So yeah, probably the best episode we've gotten, not only with the Kenobi show, but with the Disney Star Wars television shows. Yeah, I think I can say that.
Man, that's it's definitely the best of Kenobi so far. But man, to compare it with some of the other ones that I absolutely loved, I actually have to think about that. That actually makes for an interesting topic, because
Yeah.
obviously I love the season 2 episode finale of Book of Boba Fett with Luke, but actually even the episode with Boba Fett, I actually like, that's actually my favorite episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian. That
Oh,
the way they
really?
brought Boba Fett back was just incredible, and that's up there. And then the penultimate episode of the Book of Boba Fett with Luke and Grogu, Ahsoka, introduction of Cad Bane in live action, that was really special. But we're getting some special ones in Obi-Wan too, so yeah, I'll actually have to think about that. I can't pick one just yet, to be honest. And I have a feeling the finale of Kenobi is gonna have some pretty special stuff too that might even outdo what we saw in this last episode.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a Prison Break episode, right, Tim?
Yeah. Well, that's mainly the Mandalorian's thing.
Yeah, I saw your comments on like episode 4, and it's like, yeah, it wasn't my favorite, and I could just tell, Tim, that you were in your head just fighting with yourself. Like,
Yeah,
but it's good. It's Obi-Wan, but the episode wasn't good. But it's Obi-Wan.
it's not that it wasn't good. I just, because of how they executed for the most part was good. Yeah, seeing Obi-Wan infiltrate the Inquisitor base was cool, and getting that reveal of what they're doing to the Jedi bodies, man, that was something new and disturbing. But at the same time, it was just a little too repetitive for what we got in the second episode, as far as what the main plot of the story is, trying to rescue Leia. We kind of already got that in the second episode, and when you only have 6 episodes, it's like you can't really afford to have 2 episodes that be pretty similar as far as the narrative or the plot. That's my main thing with it. But how it was done was good. It was just like we kind of already saw that already, and I'm gonna reserve judgment till we get the final episode, because we could get some stuff that I'm still waiting to see in that one. But if we don't, there's going to be one issue I have with the series, depending on if we get it in the last episode. We shall see. Because if that's the case, then I think it was a missed opportunity to have the 4th episode be about rescuing Leia again, when it could have been about something else.
Yeah, so like I held off on that episode because I saw your reaction to it. Episode 4. And I couldn't help myself, because it's Star Wars, and it's
I mean, you have to
Kenobi.
watch it if you're gonna watch the series.
Yeah, and like I didn't want to be spoiled on it, because it seems like after like 6 hours, people just post spoilers like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And so like I just watched it, and it was all right, but it wasn't the best. And what I did enjoy, and not to take away from Kenobi or Star Wars, or to change the subject, but was, and Tim, are you ready to be surprised?
Whoa, okay, let's hear it. I am ready.
Okay, so it wasn't the greatest episode, so I was like, you know what? I'll give Miss Marvel a try.
Ah, nice.
I love Miss Marvel. I haven't seen the second episode
Yes.
yet. It is it, Tim. You know I don't really follow the Marvel stuff,
Yeah, that's
and
why it
I
definitely is a surprise.
I don't I don't really care for the Marvel stuff. I'll be totally honest with you, and maybe it's because of her intro. I knew nothing about Miss Marvel. Um, didn't know her character. Didn't really care. But maybe it's because I got a little taste of who the character was in the Avengers game.
Uh-huh.
But I really, really love the television show. I think this is the best so far. This is the best Marvel show that they put out. And I know you're gonna say, "Oh no, it's probably Loki, or it's probably the WandaVision, or the Captain America show, or the uh,
Moon Knight.
what's what's Moon Knight, or what's Jeremy Renner's character,
Oh, Hawkeye, yeah.
Hawkeye, the Hawkeye show." But to me, this is
That's
the
actually
best
my
one
least
so
favorite.
far.
That's why I kind of forgot about it, to be
Yeah,
honest.
this is the best one so far that I personally loved. Just just not knowing anything about the Marvel thing and like how it connects with the blah blah blah, or how it connects with the new movies that they're putting out or whatever.
It will
Because I don't
eventually,
really,
though.
yeah, like I don't really care about that stuff. Like you can have that stuff, but like to me, I really like this Miss Marvel show. I really like the actress they got to play her, and the
Mm,
story about like how, you know, I mean, the first episode is she wants to go to adventure. She wants to go to a Comic Con
yeah.
essentially, but like her
Just
parents
just the
school.
fact that that's the main goal of the episode is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And she comes up with this whole scheme of like, okay, so like I'll use this this smart speaker to like
Yeah.
to make sure my dad doesn't find out. And just the comedy hits better. It's just funnier, like when her dad comes out as Hulk.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah, and yeah, I just love this show. The comedy is there, the serious is the drama is there. Whereas like she sneaks back in, and like her mom is like, I'm so disappointed in you for like for going to this thing and lying to us and all this stuff. It just hits so perfectly, like all of these different aspects, and that's why, yeah, I totally love the show. And I know people were review bombing it because they
Of
didn't like her
course.
power or whatever, her new power or whatever, you know, or how they're presenting it or whatever. But you know, I, I don't care about that crap. Um, and you know, this is my favorite show, Tim. Gotta say, this is my favorite show so far. I haven't seen episode 2 yet, but yeah, it
Nice.
really impressed me. It really impressed me.
So glad to hear this is finally an MCU show that is kind of
Yeah,
delivering on it for you. Because I agree. I loved the first episode. I thought it got off to a great start. And just the visual look of it, like the aesthetic of it, is really cool and different. Like the different artwork that they're using to describe when they're talking about certain things, and you see the artwork go on buildings and stuff like that. That's just really cool and something different. And yeah, just how they're setting up for her character to becoming an eventual superhero. And it is different from the comics, but I think it's actually going to end up being better than what it is in the comics. Is pretty much she's like, well, from playing the Avengers game, she's pretty much Mr. Fantastic in the comics, just
right,
stretchy powers.
right.
And these are definitely much more,
Stretchy power.
yeah, just pretty much more something more unique for her, but yet still kind of having that same feel where she can make a big giant hand if she wanted to. And that's how she saved
Mhm.
that one girl at Avengers Con. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
off to a good start. The second episode, it's still good. I didn't quite enjoy it as much as the first one, but the way it ends is setting up for some interesting stuff as far as, I guess, what she's going to be dealing with and what kind of the antagonist might be for these next few episodes. So yeah, it's off to a really good start.
yeah. I
I'm
don't know.
glad you'll be there on the
I
journey with me this time,
yeah.
Dane.
I really like how they when it comes to her powers, yeah, she doesn't have that stretchy stuff, that stretchy power.
Mm.
But yeah, I like how they play into like the whole Pakistani thing, and this was like her from her grandmother or her grandmother stuff, and
Yeah.
it's like a bracelet thing, which I thought was pretty cool, and like just the whole visual of it, where it's like this weird sort of like thing. But yeah, I have no problem with that. I love this show, and I'm sure I'm going to love the second episode, Tim. You can't turn me off of it this time. Not like
This time,
Kenobi
what if I try
episode
to turn you off
4.
of anything?
Kenobi episode 4, Tim, even though that wasn't your intention.
I didn't even say it was bad, though. I just said it wasn't as
Tim,
great as the other 2 or 3.
Tim, I know you prefer to say when it comes to Star Wars things that it wasn't your favorite thing. That's your trademark on these sort of things. So if I hear that, if I see that, if I read that, I know that you didn't like it at all.
Glad to know that's how you interpret my tweets and comments
Yeah.
about things.
Yeah, I'm
Anytime
taking.
a
Yeah,
little hint of me not absolutely loving something automatically makes you think I don't like it and I hate it.
yeah,
Just like the
yeah.
Batman, right?
That is the golden rule when it comes to if you're like, but I didn't like this, right? Okay, so like you didn't like it at all, right? You didn't you totally just sat there for the other 3 hours of the Batman and didn't like it.
Well, I got to word my tweets more carefully for you now, Dane.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna make you like doubt yourself, like, oh, should I put this now?
What will Dane think of this? Well, speaking of things I didn't like, you ready for me to give my review of Jurassic World Dominion?
Uh-oh. Oh yeah. Can I just say before you start your review, kind of had a feeling, I had like this weird feeling, and this is coming from somebody who liked the first 2 movies, even though people didn't really like them.
Same here.
But I mean, because it's Jurassic Park, and you just sit back and watch the dinosaurs is what I'd say. But I sort of had a feeling going into Fallen Kingdom that something was going on. Sorry,
Yeah.
Dominion. Sorry, I'm looking at something right now, but like Dominion. Yeah, something was up with it because, like, just going off the trailers, the CGI didn't look very good, and it's the bringing back, the return of Laura Dern and Sam Neill that sort of was like, something's wrong with this movie.
Really? Because that's the thing that gets you most, at least for me, and I know other fans, most excited about the movie. Just the fact that all 3 are coming back.
Yeah, but it's like why are they bringing both of them back? Like, is it because this is the final movie in the trilogy, or is this because the script isn't as good, or what's going on with this? So I kind of had a little doubt going into this, but like I'd like to hear your review.
Oh, I'll definitely get into that as far as bringing them back. But no, yeah, I was pretty much right there with you. One of I think the few who actually really like and love the first 2 movies, especially Jurassic World. I think that's the perfect sequel for a Jurassic Park movie. And Fallen Kingdom kind of grew to love more and more as I watched it and just appreciate the direction they were taking things. And especially with how it ended and how it's setting up the third one with dinosaurs living amongst humans in the world now. That is such, I think, a great potential for a third movie to really dive into. And then we got that prologue that was released, where just a really great opening. And before it was revealed that was going to be the opening of the movie, and then they released it for like was attached to like Fast and Furious 9 or something like that. And then they released it online, and that's why they said, oh, this actually isn't going to be in the movie. It's just a prologue, and the movie's going to be without it. And just right off the bat, I thought that was a huge mistake because that opening is awesome and just sets the tone beautifully, I think, for the movies. Starting out with dinosaurs roaming the earth as we knew they did 65 million years ago. And then it jumps into seeing them out in the world now, just out in the wild amongst humans, and just, like I said, setting the stage of what this movie was going to be. And even the fight with the T-Rex and I forget the name of the new dinosaur, so I won't even bother saying it, but it was pretty much it's the biggest known predator that ever walked the earth. And the fight that the T-Rex had and that dinosaur fight for dominance in that opening sequence would come back later in the movie. But since it was cut and that's not how the movie started off, it was kind of a mute point in the ending, which I'll get to later. But I just thought it was a big mistake not starting with that because it really set the tone for how this movie should have been. But instead, it just starts off with a random attack from the mosasaur, the big dinosaur that's underwater, attacking a fishing boat. And then we get kind of like a recap of what happened in the first two movies as a news footage. And I actually really like that because that's pretty much where we got most of seeing how life is now with dinosaurs living amongst humans and how they're affecting everyday life. And there's some great moments of seeing dinosaurs interrupting, like just walking amongst traffic, attacking like some pterodactyls, taking these doves that were released for a wedding celebration, a cheetah trying to chase down a compy. So some of that stuff was released in the prologue too, but getting more footage of seeing dinosaurs out in the open world was great. And actually, what I enjoyed most of this movie was in the first act, because that's really where I felt the film explored what it is like with dinosaurs roaming the earth amongst humans. Seeing Owen kind of acting like a dinosaur cowboy, herding up some dinosaurs on horseback, was cool to see. And just like a construction crew having to wait for a brontosaurus herd to walk through so they could finish construction. So I just love seeing the little stuff like that. But here's my main issue with it. It reminds me of, remember the line Malcolm said in the first Jurassic Park where they're on the tour and no dinosaurs are coming out? And where he goes, and now you're supposed to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right? And he keeps pouting the camera. I could kind of say that for the plot of this movie. It's like, you are planning to have dinosaurs in your plot in a movie about dinosaurs, right? Because here's my biggest issue. The movie does not deal with that premise of dinosaurs walking and living among man. It was such, going into it, that's what this movie was setting up, but it was like almost like the side plot of it. Because, like I said, the first act deals with that, but then we just go into another direction in the story. And then by the time we get to the second and final, or really the final act, it becomes your typical Jurassic Park movie where you're kind of stuck on this remote location or this remote island cut off from the world with dinosaurs, just like every other movie. And that was disappointing because it just turns into your typical final act of a Jurassic movie, which I was hoping would be a lot different for this now that we got dinosaurs out in the real world. And we do get some fun sequences, though, because the highlight of the action in this movie was in the middle. You've seen in the trailers where they're in Italy and Owen's on a motorcycle invading some raptors. People were comparing that to, it's like a Mission Impossible action sequence with dinosaurs. And I would agree with that. And it was fun. Some of it, might think it's a little ridiculous, but you kind of have to go with that for these kind of movies, too. But that's kind of the stuff I was looking forward to. Dinosaurs amongst just the street and city in Italy causing havoc and trouble that our heroes have to get through. And that's what I was hoping for. And that's what this thing delivered. So, like I said, the first bits of the movie is what I enjoyed most, when I was actually dealing with dinosaurs living amongst humans. But here's the biggest thing. The reason that Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Malcolm are back into the story. Now, wouldn't you think, Dane, it would be because of dinosaurs living amongst humans and something to that effect would cause them to get back together? Wouldn't you think that's a reasonable expectation going into the final movie of this Jurassic World trilogy? Wouldn't you say?
No, because I thought I thought they brought him back because there was a water crisis in Italy.
Well, you're not too far off. Here's the reason. Here's the reason, Dane. Giant locusts.
Oh my god.
Giant locusts that are destroying crops over the world.
So you have paleontologists, right? You have them go to Jurassic Park, and then Jurassic Park happens, right? The Jurassic Park movie happens, and then you have Jurassic Park 2, and then 3, and then World and Fallen Kingdom, and then you have this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And instead of them going after dinosaurs, you have them going after giant locusts.
Yes,
giant bugs.
That is the catalyst of what brings them together. And it can make sense for Ellie Sattler because she's a paleobotanist who deals with like plant life and all that, and she's investigating the destruction of these crops. But for that to be the reason, because then she recruits Alan Grant to go with her to investigate biosyn, because everyone's crops is getting destroyed except biosyn. So she thinks they're the ones engineering these giant locusts. And yeah, that ends up being the case. And Malcolm's there. He's kind of there in secret, or he's working with them, giving these lectures at biosyn. And biosyn is where, you remember Dotson from the first Jurassic Park movie, where Wayne Knight just goes, Dotson, we have Dotson here. He's the main bad guy in this one. Different actor playing him. Yeah. But
really?
But what not used to great effect, if I may say so.
Okay, so like he starts his own company?
Yeah, I mean, you always knew he was after what Hammond did to try to catch up to him quicker than his company could. He wanted to do the same thing, but Hammond had the jump on him. That's why he sent Nedry to get all those embryos. But he eventually does catch up, and he creates this dinosaur sanctuary where some of the ones they are able to capture in the real world or out there, he brings into his sanctuary. They're able to live there, but then he develops his own dinosaurs that have no DNA tampering, and that's why you see some of them in the trailer have the feathers, and those dinosaurs look great. But again, the main purpose while Ellie Sattler and Grant go there is because of the locusts, not because of the dinosaurs. And Malcolm's there kind of undercover to get information to expose biosyn for them genetically engineering these giant wasps or locusts. And it's just like, that's your reasoning for getting the crew back together, not because of dinosaurs. It just to be such a wasted opportunity. And then the other thing, you have Dr. Wu, he was the scientist in the first Jurassic Park movie and played a part in Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom. And you see in the trailers too, where he's like really down on himself. He just, someone who is not happy for the things he's done. You even see in the trailer, I need to correct a big mistake. And you think that would be because, the mistake of creating these dinosaurs in the first place, and now they're living amongst humans and causing disruption to the ecosystem and just the way life is now. You think that's what he'd be regretting, right? No, it's because he created these giant locusts. That's the reason why he's so down on himself. He needs to correct this mistake. It's because of the locusts, not the dinosaurs. And it's just like, really? Why did you go in this direction when all these movies set up this big moment of dinosaurs living amongst humans, but yet you go in this totally different direction where the main goal is to stop these locusts from destroying crops. That's the goal. And it was like, God, so disappointing. And then you throw in something that was controversial in Fallen Kingdom, but I actually really liked. How it had the reveal that the little girl Maisie was a clone of the daughter of Pam's partner. Right. Well, they tried to retcon that.
Really?
Yeah, they had it where it was because his daughter did die, but it wasn't in a car accident. She had a disease, but she wanted to do it to create a new life to where she would have a daughter free of the disease she had, something to that effect. So I guess it's kind of cloning, but not, because it's actually she gave birth. She carried the little girl. So they tried to make it where she wasn't a clone actually, but it was actually the daughter of her mother, and she developed this technology, I guess from the studies that her dad and Hammond did. And it just like such an unnecessary retcon, because I know not everyone loved that reveal in Fallen Kingdom, but I did, because it made sense that Hammond and Lockwood were developing this cloning technology, and you just think the natural thing for humans to do would take it the next step further. We're doing dinosaurs. Why can't we do it with humans? And I bought into him losing his daughter would kind of push him over the edge to take that technology further, to do cloning on humans. And that's what kind of split apart the partnership and friendship of Hammond and Lockwood. And I thought that made total sense in the story. But now they throw in this, and they just said it was what the thing in Fallen Kingdom was just a cover up for what his daughter actually did, was giving birth to Maisie. And it was just so unnecessary and I think convoluted, when I think what they did in Fallen Kingdom made perfect sense, and just kind of had Maisie trying to realize that even though she technically isn't cloned, she is her own person and is able to have her own life despite her being a clone of her mother. And they kind of try to get that point across, but I thought it was just unnecessary trying to retcon how she actually was created. And it would get into this whole thing about, being able to reproduce by just one person being able to do it, because Blue had her baby all by herself because of the DNA of some lizards that were made of her DNA makeup. And that stuff, they see in the trailers how Blue's daughter Beta gets kidnapped by Biosyn because they're trying to unlock the potential, but Beta has and Maisie has as both offsprings of parents who were able to reproduce on their own to develop that into cure diseases and all that stuff. But it wasn't a main plot of the story. Again, it all came down to the locusts. So Biosyn kidnaps Maisie and Beta. That's what gets Owen and Claire to try to find Maisie, and Owen wants to find Blue's baby. That takes them to Biosyn's island, and Dr. Grant and Ellie Sattler are already there. Malcolm's already there. Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler find Maisie. They try to escape the compound, and then as Owen and Claire get there, they meet up, and that's where the dinosaur action happens. The typical trying to escape dinosaurs and all that, but it's all there to destroy the locusts. That's the main goal, at least for some of them. Owen and Claire's main goal is to get Maisie back, and then find Beta for Blue. So, I mean, the action in that final sequence, it was fun, but it wasn't the best of the series, in my opinion. Jurassic World was better. Fallen Kingdom's final action was better. Jurassic World, that final battle between the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Indominus Rex and Blue, that's an all-timer. That's it's the best Jurassic Park fight between dinosaurs. That was phenomenal. And they tried to recreate that, but with the T-Rex and the new I want to call it the Gigantosaur. I know that's not. It's like the Gigasaur or something like that. It was a more complex name than that. But they have their fight, and again, that goes back to why they should have had the opening prologue. You saw the T-Rex lose to that dinosaur in the opening, and then it sets up for him trying to be the dominant apex predator on this island. He defeats the Gigantosaur with the help with another dinosaur. And it would have been a nice through line to have that for the T-Rex, but it just sent like such an afterthought, especially without the prologues. It's not really a big deal that you see the Tyrannosaurus Rex beat that dinosaur. And just the fight wasn't that great either. It was kind of like darkly lit. It just, I don't know, it wasn't directed that great in my opinion. And I don't want to put that as a knock. I mean, I will knock it for Colin Trevorrow, but I don't want to make it as like something he can't do, because he did it in the first Jurassic World movie. That final fight sequence, again, was awesome. And I was hoping for something more to that vein, but it didn't come close to it. And so it's just our heroes trying to escape the island in the midst of this big dinosaur battle, all while trying to get what they needed to take care of the locust pandemic, I guess. So, and they escape, they make it back to the mainland. Dr. Wu, I'm using air quotes here, fixes his greatest mistake, that being the locusts, curing the population and not going to have them destroy crops anymore, because that was the main goal of this movie. And then Owen gets Beta back to Blue, so Blue's all happy. Again, that was nice to see. I do love the bond that Owen and Blue had over the course of this trilogy, and it was nice to see that kind of payoff with Owen saving Blue's daughter. So I liked all that stuff, but again, just sent like an afterthought amongst everything having to do with just fixing this locust problem. And like the movie kind of ends, and it was all built up to be, this is gonna be the final story of the 6 movie franchise, and it just leaves things kind of the same as it was in Fallen Kingdom. Dinosaurs are still living amongst humans, and dinosaurs are living on that sanctuary in Biosyn, because Biosyn was kind of destroyed. Dodson tried to burn all the evidence of him and his company being behind the locusts, and he sets the locusts on fire, and they start falling over the island. So a lot of the dinosaurs habitat got destroyed there, but they did have this big open spot on the sanctuary where they're still able to live. And That's where Rexy, the main Tyrannosaurus Rex, who we've seen from the first Jurassic Park all the way up to Jurassic World Dominion, survived this time, and I was glad to see that. And is the dominant apex predator on that sanctuary now. And that's pretty much where the movie ends. It did have a nice montage again of showing dinosaurs living amongst humans in the different ways of life. But again, it's just like we already saw that with Fallen Kingdom. I was just wondering how it was going to end. It was just pretty similar to where it's the status quo by the end of Fallen Kingdom. But it was a great shot of the Triceratops walking among elephants in Africa amongst the sunset. Visually, it looked good. But yeah, the story really left a lot to be desired, in my opinion. I just thought it was kind of a waste bringing Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Dr. Malcolm back as far as the reasoning for getting them together. We really didn't get much insight of what they thought of the current situation of dinosaurs living among humans. And I really wanted to see that, because just knowing everything they went through in the first Jurassic Park movies, and now this is how life is now for them, I really wanted them to dive into that and see how they view this and just get their insight on everything that's happened from their time visiting Jurassic Park up until now, when we really didn't get any of that. It all had to do with stopping the locusts. And Ellie and Alan Grant do reunite. They do fall in love again. So I guess that's a happy ending for them. But I will say their interactions is great. The three of them talking to each other was fun. But again, I wanted them more kind of, I guess, reminiscing about what they've been through and then just their views on the current world with dinosaurs. And we didn't get really too much of that. So yeah, I was disappointed with it. It's not my least favorite Jurassic Park movie. That's still The Lost World, but it's definitely my least favorite of the Jurassic World movies. Just the potential that this movie could have been was not met, and that's the biggest disappointment. But I will say I am hopeful, or I shouldn't say hopeful, but I am excited that it's kind of been confirmed that the 4K Blu-ray release will be an extended cut that should have the opening prologue in there, and I think it will make it a better flowing movie with that prologue, so I'm excited about that. But it's not really going to fix the plot problems I had with it, where it was more about locusts than dinosaurs. So because of that, I'm just going to give it 2.5 out of 5, when I was really excited and hoping this would be up there with the other Jurassic World movies that I absolutely loved. So it was definitely a disappointment for me. Sad to say.
Okay, so we can definitely confirm, Tim, that you didn't like it, right? I can definitely say you didn't like it. You're not going to accuse me of putting words in your mouth and say it was the worst, that Tim thinks is the worst thing ever made.
Well,
Right.
no, can't say it's the worst thing ever made.
Oh, God. Okay.
You just hear what I just said. I said it's not my least favorite Jurassic Park movie. That's still The Lost World. But it's my least favorite of this trilogy. So you can say I didn't like it. That is true. Even though it has its moments, overall, I did not like it.
Okay.
So yes,
you
can say that.
As you were giving your review, I couldn't help but think that this is like, so Top Gun Maverick finally came out, right?
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I want to see it though.
Yeah, I want to see it. I haven't seen it, but this is like doing Top Gun Maverick, right? Bringing back Tom Cruise and I don't know, Val Kilmer and Goose. Goose is dead, so Goose's son.
Yeah.
Right. And like having them grounded, right? They can't.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You don't want to. You want to see them fly the fighter jets, but they're grounded and they got to do paperwork.
Yeah.
Like that's. Is that sort of like the vibe I'm getting?
That is actually a pretty great example. Yes. Such a waste. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if you want to see them with in action scenes amongst dinosaurs, you get that, but I wanted more than that. I wanted story development for these characters about dinosaurs, not locusts. So
yeah.
And you know what? That makes me think of something else. I've seen some knocks regarding the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and I think even Colin Trevorrow, he didn't say anything, but he was kind of one of the things he wanted to make sure of. What his movie will have the three main characters from the previous trilogy together on screen again. Like, we're not going to make the same mistake that the Star Wars trilogy did, where Han, Luke, and Leia, they weren't in the scene together. And my thing is, that kind of annoyed me. I would much rather have a trilogy of movies where the main characters, they may not be on the same screen at the same time together, but their stories are super impactful on the course of the story they're telling in this trilogy and play a big role in the outcome and the events of that series. I'd rather have that than have your 3 characters from the previous trilogy on screen together and add pretty much nothing to the story, and having the reason be pretty weak, how it is in Dominion, where it's about trying to stop locusts. So yeah, I don't want to hear that comparison again because
Wow.
I'd much rather have what we got in the sequel trilogy with Han, Luke, and Leia than what we got here with Ellie, Malcolm, and Alan Grant.
Well, like the sequel trilogy is actually did it correctly, where it's like, yeah, you have the trio of characters, but what they're supposed to do, what their real intention is to pass the story along to the new characters,
Yeah.
right? So like you have Han with Ben, you have Luke with Rey, and then Leia with Rey, right? They pass everything on to her, and onto Ben, right? So like that's the point of bringing back these legacy characters, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like that's what they did with this, right? It sounds more like they were trying to incorporate them into the story.
Exactly. Yeah.
And create their own story into the story of the Jurassic World trilogy, I guess you could say now.
Oh
right?
yeah, you're totally right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they're
all
just
just
trying to, like,
circumstance
jam
that
them in.
that they happen to meet up with each other, the old and the new characters. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like they're trying to like jam these quote unquote legacy characters into this trilogy, or at least this movie, right?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah. So like Star Wars, they tried to like, and I thought they were successful in it, where like they're trying to pass the story along from like these old characters from the original trilogy or whatever into the new characters. Whereas like this Dominion movie, they're trying to just like jam in these 3 characters into the already existing story without any sort of reason, or sorry, locusts.
Yeah. There's a reason. It's just not a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So you can't really compare the 2 trilogies.
No,
Yeah.
but I have seen them, and some people, oh, this is how it's done right. This is how you bring back legacy characters. I'm like, no, I wouldn't say that.
No, because Han, Luke, and Leia had a real purpose,
Yep.
in the Star Wars sequels. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I hopefully don't see too much more of those comparisons, especially kind of the more negative reaction that Dominion is getting. And I shouldn't say it's all negative, because I know people who genuinely like it and think it's their favorite of the trilogy. So it's kind of getting split reactions amongst fans. I know it's not getting good reviews critically, but I think amongst just general audiences, it's a little more mixed than negative.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's well, I mean, I guess that's a good thing, where it's like, oh yeah, this wasn't a good movie, and people, fans don't actually like it. I'm just looking up the Rotten Tomato score right now. Oh, okay, so it has a 30.
Yeah, but the audience score is not pretty high though.
Let me check. Where's the audience score?
Shouldn't they be back to back, like right next to each other?
Hold on, I gotta reload this page.
But even then, I mean, that's going by Rotten Tomato score is not always the best thing, because knowing how people like to review bomb or review, maybe in this case it's a review bump. I don't know, but
Well, the audience score is 78.
yeah, well, that's pretty high compared to the critics. So, like I said, it's more mixed amongst general audiences.
Yeah, it's usually the other way around, like with Miss Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Did you see Lightyear?
No, I'll probably just wait for Disney Plus on that.
Yeah.
But
I just got an ad. Yeah.
That's my review for Jurassic World Dominion. I'm sadly disappointed with it, because that was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I couldn't wait for it. Everything, the trailers I thought looked good. The prologue got me excited for it, but I just didn't know it was going to be about giant locusts.
Uh, I like this review. Jurassic World Dominion is dumb without the fun, and that makes me sad.
Yeah. That's kind of right. But I did have some fun in some moments, so I can't 100% agree with that.
Yeah, just the dinosaur moments, right?
When there
Tim?
was dinosaur moments.
Oh, why would you not put dinosaurs in Jurassic World? I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when it's called Dominion too. You expect to see them dominate kind of the presence of over the course of this movie. But no.
Yeah. No, that's unfortunate, Tim. I feel bad for you because, like you said, this was your most anticipated movie of the year, and people didn't or you didn't like it, so I feel
No.
bad for you.
Yeah. But I appreciate the sympathy thing. Yes, I really need it right now. I don't know if I'm going to make it through the next few years waiting if the Jurassic series will continue. I will say we still got the last season of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, the Netflix series. That series is
Yeah.
really good. Though the last season kind of went in a little bit of a ridiculous direction, and I'm kind of glad it's kind of ending on this one because there's really not much more you can do with the kids keep getting stranded on the island. But overall, the series has been really good and fun, though.
I gotta get back on that.
Where did you leave off?
The end of season 1.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you got season 2 and 3 are really good. I really like season 3.
Oh, okay.
Season 4
Well, I
kind
mean,
of
even that hasn't gotten great reviews.
really
Camp
From the
Cretaceous, yeah.
what I've seen on social media, anyways, like there's a lot of people enjoy it, but that's kind of surprising.
Hold on, I'm looking up.
But again, it could
Looking up the
still
Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah.
and even that's not going to be the end all be all for it.
Let's see, what is it? What is it? What is it? Oh, okay. So the first season got 77. Second season got 100.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah. Third season, 100. And yeah. So I guess people liked it all right the first season, and people really loved the second and third. But you said the second season isn't very good.
No, the 4th season.
Oh, the fourth season.
Yeah, what is that score?
I'm not seeing it on this. Wait.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just on the Wikipedia page. That's why.
It's been out for a while now, so I'm kind of surprised that there's no some type of score for it already.
Here, let's see. 60.
Yeah,
Or the audience score is 60.
that's about right.
Yeah. The weary crew dodges danger in the desert while trying to figure out where they are, but they unearth more questions than answers. Right, Tim?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Well, here's hoping that this wraps up their series better than Dominion did for the Jurassic World series. That's what I can hope for.
Hey, did you finish Stranger Things?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Now, that didn't disappoint.
Okay, because I'm stuck on the last episode. It's like, because it's like an hour,
Yeah, it's long.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm having a hard time getting through with it because like I love Stranger Things. I mean, I guess it's kind of like what you were saying about Jurassic World Dominion. It should be about the kids, but then we're getting sidetracked with the one storyline I don't like in season 3 so far.
Season 4, you
And
mean?
Season 4, sorry. And I just cannot get into it at all. Is Hopper in the gulag.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just cannot get into that. I mean, I know the Game of Thrones guy is there, But I just cannot get into it. It's just the same thing over and 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 over again. It's like, okay, we're gonna escape. Oh no, we got caught. We're gonna get tortured. Oh, okay, we found another way. Okay, we got caught. We're gonna get tortured again. It's like it's just the same thing over and over again. It's like I know that they're trying to build this up, but like you can't build stuff up with just the same thing over and over again. And I understand like you can only do so much in a prison break, right?
Yeah.
And but it's like, but this should have just been a quick thing, and let's just focus on what the kids are doing.
Yeah. I would agree with you for the most part. That is the weakest aspect of season 4, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's like I don't hate it. It's just not as great as the other stuff that's going on. But I will say, in the finale, it does pick up substantially as far as what goes down in there.
Okay.
So have you started the last episode yet, or are you like in the middle of it?
I'm in the beginning of it.
Okay.
I think.
Gotcha.
But let me just throw out my prediction. Okay, so the final scene of season 4 of Stranger Things, when it comes to Hopper and I forget her name.
Joyce.
What's her name? Joyce, right? Yeah. Joyce and beard
Murray.
guy.
Yeah, Murray.
Yeah. Right. They finally get into the gulag, and Joyce and Hopper embrace and kiss, and they escape. That's the final scene of their scenes. That's just my prediction, Tim.
Can I spoil it for you?
Sure.
Just if you're right or wrong.
Okay.
You're right. But at the same time, a lot of stuff goes down before that happens, which I dug. So it's not just like that simple.
Is it enough to pay off the repetitiveness of?
It probably could have been done sooner. I will say that. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah. I mean, because watching like the sorry, this is my last thing before you can say what you're gonna say. But like, I don't know. As I was watching, the episodes, it was and like it shifted away from like what was happening with the bad guy, and like you said on our previous episode, season 4 really kicked things off for me. I was like, wow, this is really good. Like when they flash back to that guy, Freddy Krueger, and his family. Like I thought that was really cool, but like, and that really kicked things off for me. But like going back to the Hopper and Joyce thing, it was like, okay, so like the phone's coming up, and I'm going on Twitter, and I'm looking at Twitter, even though they're speaking in Russian. I don't really care because they're gonna break out or something. Yeah. I know they're gonna break out, and the gang's gonna be all back together and stuff. So like the phone's coming up, sort of thing. So like I don't know. I just, this was a big misstep, and like I know that the stuff with the kids is really good, but like this was just like a giant. It was so hard to get through.
Yeah, I mean that's again, it's the weakest aspect of the season for me. At the same time, I didn't hate it type of thing. It's like I do say certain episodes went on in too many different directions where it didn't need to, and I think the main part of that was the Hopper and Russia, the Gulag type stuff. So I agree with you for the most part there. But at the same time, it's not like, oh, this is killing the season or killing the show for me.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. It's just like this thing just went on a little too long.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, and plus, too, I think in season 3 they should have killed Hopper. I know I'm in the minority on that, but like I think they should have killed him, killed him off in that season.
Yeah, well, it's funny when you think about it, how the series, it's like they kind of have to be careful where there's been too many fake deaths already. Where starting even Will in the first season, the first 3 episodes, and then 11 at the end of season 1, and Hopper here. Right. I mean, we love these characters. You don't want to see them die, but at the same time, you got to be careful not to do that too much. Where it's like you're not going to believe any other important death that may happen later on in the series.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but
And
I will say,
go
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, they should have killed him off in the third season because I feel like they need a death. I mean, like, you can't just keep bringing back characters. I mean, like, what was her name in the first season? Barbara, was it?
Yeah, she's the only one who stayed dead.
Yeah, she stayed dead. And like that had impact, and like, I don't know. I think they should have just killed the character off in season 3. It would have had more of an effect for 11, right?
Yeah, we already
season.
saw that effect too, like at the final
Right.
sequence of season 3 when she's reading his letter.
Yeah, but like, but he's alive.
Yeah,
and like you see it a little bit in the beginning of this in season 4, where she makes the diorama of her time in the woods with Hopper, and the girl makes fun of her and everything, and like smashes her stuff, and like that has real meaning because she thinks the character is dead, because the character is dead to her. But like they're gonna come back, and
the reunion is coming.
And it doesn't really have the payoff. I mean, I know it's gonna be sweet, and, it's gonna make Tim cry, but but like it would have meant much more if they killed off the character. But I mean, great season. This is a great show. I love this show. That's my only nitpick. Yeah.
And I can understand it, but boy, Dave, when you get to the finale, man, I absolutely love what they did with 11's story and diving more into the flashbacks of her at the facility with the other kids. The reveal that we get there, I thought it's not like a huge surprise. You might see it coming, but I still think it's a brilliant move what they did. So I'll just leave it at that. It was 11's story.
Okay.
They actually did some really cool stuff, and it just makes you super excited for when the second volume comes out in July. I absolutely love the final episode.
Okay. Because that's one of the aspects I really like about the show is 11's story, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't wait to see what they did with it.
Yeah, so even if you find still the stuff in Russia with Hopper a little tough to get through, just knowing that the stuff we get with 11 in that final episode is awesome.
What was I going to say? Oh, one of the coolest things, I think it was in episode 4, was the single take shootout in the house.
That was surprising.
That was so cool. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Yeah, like I was not expecting that. That's for sure. Like just getting some pizza.
Yeah. Oh,
so, yeah,
and the friend. Sorry, the friend with the long hair. I love that guy. I love that guy. I don't know what his name is, but I love that guy.
Yeah, he's funny. I guess I forget if it's in the finale episode before, but did you get to the part where Mike, Will, Jonathan, and his friend go to Dustin's girlfriend's house?
Yeah,
okay.
With the dad and the sisters. Yeah,
that's one of the moments where I thought a little ridiculous over the top with this comedy type thing. It's kind of, we didn't have to spend so much time doing that. That was one of those instances where I felt the episode was going too many directions. Like it could have done without.
I thought that they should have just cut that out completely. Like we don't even need that. Like that whole story of like the kids have a weird sort of thing going on. Like they're play acting.
Yeah.
That all that stuff could have just been cut right out, and it could have just been Dustin's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right, trying to hack different IP addresses.
That was fun though, seeing the early days of her accessing the internet though, and no one knows what she's doing.
What's an IP address?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
But yeah, so just minor nitpicks of the season for me so far. I thought it was great. Definitely, I thought it was better than season 3, which I had more gripes with that one. But this one, just what they did with the story for most of the characters has been fantastic. And I can't wait for those final 2 episodes. And just, see how this season ends with those episodes, and then just how the series is going to end with season 5. It's just interesting things were brought to the table in that final episode. So I can't wait for you to see it and hear what you think.
So when are the final episodes coming out?
Of the season? Yeah, like July 4th weekend, like July 1st or 2nd, something like that.
Oh,
so
okay.
Just a couple
Okay.
more weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's where like the final episode for that's like over 2 hours, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. They made a movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they kind of made a movie with the final episode of this half of the season.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's just the gulag stuff trying to sneak into the base. Yeah.
But that shouldn't be an issue anymore.
I do like the guy though, the karate guy. What's his name?
Murray, right?
Yeah, Murray. Yeah. I do like that guy.
He's funny. Yeah. He's ridiculous and funny.
I like how they land. I like how they landed a crashing plane.
And
in
for the
like
most
the
part,
middle
we're
of
okay.
nowhere. Yeah, like the middle of nowhere, right? And they somehow find the gulag.
Well, that's where they
like,
were heading. So like the pilot, was going there anyway, so it was on the way. So it wasn't
okay,
like
so just walk straight from the plane crash. Just walk straight from there.
Well, like I said, he knew he was trying to go to his stash in the church, so I'm sure that's where he was going to go first. And so they're kind of heading there all along.
I don't know. Like it's maybe I'm just putting too much thought into it. Like, okay, so you crash a plane, you don't know where you are. Yeah, okay, so you have this area that you're gonna go to, but you don't know where you are. You know what I mean?
Well, the pilot did, because didn't he give him directions when he was tied up, or kind of led them to where they needed to go?
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't know where you crashed, right?
I guess, but I don't know.
I mean,
I don't think it's that's something
ahead.
we're spending too much time thinking about.
Yeah. No, like that was my biggest thing when that happened. I was like, yeah, but you don't know where you crashed because you had a fight. You were fighting in an airplane while it was flying. When the plane crashed, you were all disoriented. And how are you going to find a church in the middle of the woods, in the middle of Russia, the biggest country in the world? Like, how are you going to pinpoint, a single church in the middle of nowhere, right? And then you're going to go from there to the, I don't know. I'm thinking way too much about this.
I just figured the pilot made tons of trips there. He knows the way, so that's why he needed to lead them.
Oh, right. He had to get American peanut butter. I totally forgot. He was a peanut butter smuggler. So yeah,
I definitely look forward to hearing your reaction when you see the final episode.
Okay, yeah, I will let you know because I plan on watching it today after I watch the Miss Marvel episode. It's great to have something to watch. I have to say that.
Yes,
it's great to have a show that you love like Miss Marvel. It totally surprised you, or Stranger Things, despite what I said. It's so great to have things to watch.
Yes, and stuff to look forward to. Yes, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
All right, I guess the final bit of topic we're going to talk about real quick is some news we got regarding the Joker sequel. And first that, I don't know if I'm going to be pronouncing this right, Dane, but that definitely has a title, or at least a working title. Because Todd Phillips posted a picture of the script cover where it's Joker Folie Adieu. Am I saying that right? It looks to be French, but that's what it's listed as on the script. So, but that's not the big news.
Where does it say that?
If you go to our Twitter account, and I tweeted Variety's tweet about it, with reveal saying that they're working on the script, and you'll see the picture of the red folder with the Joker title on there.
Okay. And I'm locked out of
Okay.
the Twitter. Hold on. Okay, yeah, that's not the password. Let me try to look it up.
You'll probably
real
just be
quick.
quicker go on Google, typing in Joker sequel or something.
Oh yeah. What is that? Joker. Volley ado. There you go, Tim.
Okay, that was
What you
kind of
said.
close.
What you said.
Okay,
What you
good.
said. Yeah. Yeah,
My
that's good enough.
pronunciation didn't fail me this time.
Plus
think
two, we're not French, so
Yeah. But I think it refers to like two people with like the same mindset or something like that. I'm probably not remembering 100%, but something to that effect. But the big news that came out just earlier this week is how Lady
Oh
Gaga.
no, it doesn't, Tim. Sorry, Tim.
Oh,
It doesn't. It's two. Oh, it's kind of like what you said. It's two people that share the same mental illness
okay, yes.
or
something like-
delusion. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That might make sense to what the movie's going to be about. Because,
Yeah.
Lady Gaga is in negotiations to star as Harley Quinn in the Joker sequel. But I mean, that got people, talking and discussing and being excited and by itself. But then you got the reveal of what the movie's actually going to be. How sources say that the sequel is going to be a musical.
I love it. I love it, and
Wow.
I'm sorry. I love it. Okay, so you have Lady Gaga, one of the greatest singers we've had, right? We already know what Joaquin Phoenix can do.
Mhm.
And we know just going off of his filmography, we know he has this wide range of roles that he can do, that he can play. Go full steam ahead with it. You know, the first Joker was the first Joker movie was really good, or at least I liked it. Go full steam ahead with this musical aspect of this film. Make it different. When was the last time you saw a superhero musical? Oh, right, you haven't. Right.
At least on a movie. Certain TV
At least
episodes
in a
of like
movie.
The Flash did one.
Yeah.
So more as a joking type fun episode. But I have a feeling this one isn't going to be fun.
Don't make it, make it campy, but don't make it campy.
Yeah.
Let's just go full steam ahead with this. This is about two people that have mental illness, and let's go crazy with it. I am so on board with this. I know people want this, more of a Joker movie, more of the same, and you can have hints of it, but let's just go crazy with the second movie. Let's make it a musical. You have Lady Gaga, or she's in negotiations, and let's say she is playing Harley Quinn, right? Okay, so two peas in a pod, and let's just go full steam ahead with this musical. Let's have Joker singing. Let's have Lady Gaga singing.
Mm.
I am totally on board with this. I know a lot of people don't want it, but I am on board with it 100%.
Cool. Yeah, because I was kind of in the mix. So I was like, oh, that's just so shocking. Like, you weren't expecting to see that, the next Joker movie being a musical. But at the same time, it's like, it's just crazy enough that it'll probably work. Like, it just sounds so unexpected, ridiculous, and crazy that it can work in this type of movie where if they're both in a mental institution or it's an Arkham asylum and this is how they're coping with their mental illness, and it is through musical, and you see different aspects, like when they start a song or something, you see them in a different setting where they're out of Arkham, and is like the Joker and Harley we might be familiar with, but they can just go in so many crazy directions that I just can't help but be intrigued and excited to see how it's all gonna work. I don't know if it will work, but like I said, it might just be crazy enough to succeed. And another thing that I think in the end, it might be the best way to go, because if Dan, you see all the online chatter about Joker, how everyone originally thought this was going to be a one and done movie, and a lot of people felt it should be. You don't need a sequel. It's a perfect one and done story telling about this version of the Joker. But at the same time,
Sure.
a lot of people were disappointed that a sequel was announced. But if you make a sequel so different and so unique than the first one, that might be the only way to do a sequel, and to have it not,
Sure.
I don't want to say tarnish, or just do something that might affect how the first movie was. But if you do something totally crazy and different, it just might be crazy enough to work. It might be the only way to do a really great sequel to that Joker movie.
Yeah, and I agree with that. You know, like the Joker movie doesn't need a sequel, and I don't know. I'm on the fence on whether it should have a sequel, but like,
Same here, yeah. I can see both
Yeah.
arguments, honestly.
sure, yeah, I can see, like you said, I can see both arguments. But go crazy with this with the
Yeah.
sequel, make it so different, so out there, so so different that it just might work. And like, if you're gonna do a musical and you're in negotiations with Lady Gaga, just go full steam ahead with the musical aspect of it, and make it weird, make it really weird, and most importantly, make it really different from what we got with the Joker. Because you cannot just repeat what you did with the Joker. You just can't. Because it to be fair and to be honest, it is a one-off movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I was gonna say too, because I think a lot of thought going into a sequel might be, you're gonna set up Batman and Joker in a Batman confrontation type thing, have it be set years later or something like that. But to be honest, this movie, or this series, I like to say, doesn't need Batman at all. You kind of did the Bruce Wayne connection already. Let's just stay here in Joker's realm in Arkham with Harley and just going crazy in that aspect. I don't think you need to have Bruce or Batman involved with this movie if they're going the musical direction with Joker and Harley at all.
stay far, far away from anything Batman.
Yeah, I think you told what you needed to tell with that in the first movie.
Yeah.
You saw his parents get killed. You know the journey's going to go on, but it's so different now than anything else in regards to the Batman and Joker dynamic that you don't need to dive into that aspect in this series, in my opinion.
Yeah, so stay far away from the Batman stuff. Make it about Harley Quinn and Joker, or if that's what they're doing, just make it about that. Which was one of my major nitpicks about Joker, which was they just tried to jam the Batman in there at the last second. We don't need that.
I thought it worked nicely, but I can understand where it's like it didn't necessarily need it, but I still dug that they made it work somehow. But I get it.
Yeah. So stay far, far away from trying to include Batman, trying to do the Marvel thing where like everybody has to be in everybody else's movie, and you have something like Civil War, right? Where it's not really a Captain America movie. So like, just make it about Joker and Harley. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, everything's set up to be something truly unique and different that could, in its own way, be a special type of comic book movie if done right, like with the musical setting. It's going to be so crazy to see play out. So I'm definitely a lot more excited and interesting to see the development of this movie and the progress of it as it begins production, and to see how everything looks and feels once we get a trailer and all that. It's going to be fascinating to see it play out. So just that in itself is exciting to see. So I'm looking forward to it now.
Yeah, I really want to see this movie and what it turns out to be. I'm not saying it's going to be good, but like I really want to see what's going on with this. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, that was some fun news to get this past week, and as I said, look forward to seeing how it progresses in development. But with that, I think that's going to be it for this episode, Dane. Unless you got anything to add or wanted to bring up.
Is there anything I wanted to bring up, Tim? No, I think we're good.
All right, so with that, I'll throw it to you for the outro.
All right, just go over to the BatmanUniverse.net, Facebook.com/BatmanUniverse, Twitter handles at at Batman Universe. The show's Twitter handle is at Bat-Fans Podcast. Tim's Twitter handle is at TimG311. My Twitter handle is at DatesBanana. Rate and review us on iTunes, and you can email the show at batfans@gmail.com. So with that, like we say at the end of every single episode, Tim.
We love each and every one of you with all of our disappointed Jurassic World Dominion hearts, but also hearts that are hopeful for the Joker sequel.
Okay. Wow, that took a turn.
Yeah. Had to put a positive on it.
Yeah, you have to put a positive spin on the ending. Right, I get it. We'll see you guys next time.
See you next time, everybody.
Shine that signal, come out to play tonight. Sun dies under Gotham moon. Crime Alley is a rich boy's tomb. There's a steaming cat, two faces of a coin. Scared